All right, so let's talk about memory. You know, the theme of this class is that we're wrong about almost everything, almost all the time. There's a sense that our memories are like video recordings of our lives, and they're really not. Your memories are an organic representation of things that happened, and every time you recall a memory, it changes a little bit. So I have two stories about memory. One is my sister. When we were kids, my mom used to babysit for this elderly aunt, Cousin Susie. She called Cousin Susie, we'd call her Aunt too. Maybe she's just a cousin. Cousin Susie was bedridden. She lived in this old, ancient, antebellum house on the river, and she had broken her hip and basically lived in the bed. It was creepy at her house. The place was, 150 years old. It was a creepy place. But anyways, my sister has this very vivid memory that Cousin Susie died in her arms. Now, Cousin Susie did not die in my sister's arms. Cousin Susie died years later, really after we didn't have any contact with her. So how in the world did my sister have a memory as vivid as that, something that dramatic, and it's a very real memory for her? Where do you think that came from? In childhood, you can mistake dreams for memories. So she may have had a dream. You can also mistake conversations for memories. You may have heard someone talk about an old lady dying in somebody's arms. It could be that she watched a television show or a movie where someone died in someone's arms and she created that memory. It's an absolute false memory, and yet she literally has a very vivid recollection of this happening. So here's mine. In third grade, I went to a field trip to the Charleston Museum. And the Charleston Museum back then was fairly rinky-dink. It was downtown. And they had a lot of like stuffed polar bears and stuff like that. But they also had a real, honest-to-goodness Egyptian mummy. And the mummy was not encased in glass. It just had one of those velvet ropes around it. I'm in third grade, right? So I walk over and I break off the second toe of the mummy and freak out. I'd stick that toe down into the bandages of the foot and go on with the tour. So I tell my wife this story. Now, I was in third grade in about 1970. So that's how far back this was. And I tell my wife the story about breaking off the mummy's toe, but I also know psychology. So I know that it's very likely or possible that I'm having a false memory about this. So Erica and I go to the Charleston Museum. Now it's upgraded. They moved into a new building. It's a very nice place to go. If you're ever in Charleston, take a visit. And I tell the story to Mommy. And we go up there, and sure as hell, this mummy is missing its second toe. And when Erica shines her phone flashlight down into the bandages, the toe is still stuck down in the bandages where I put it in third grade. Sometimes our memories are accurate, and sometimes they're inaccurate. Trouble is, we can't know which one is which. So you may have had memories that you recall very vividly, and your parents tell you that never happened. There may be memories that you have that are based on photographs from your childhood. And even though you don't really remember it, you've created a memory around the photograph.